The Officio Assassinorum is the Imperium's scalpel, hammer, and the hands that wield them, used to carve out or crush the heretical, the rebellious, and the corrupt. Led by the Grand Master of Assassins, they are a constant presence in the hall of the Senatorum Imperialis, wielding such deadly force that they can only activate the assassins they control if a majority vote is given by the High Lords of Terror. The inner workings of the Officio Assassinorum are almost as secret as that of the Inquisition, and it's not entirely unusual to see the two working closely with one another, each embroiled in the seedy underbelly of the Imperium while maintaining total loyalty to the Emperor. While the face of a trained assassin is one to be feared, they are recruited as nothing more than mere children. Often they are orphans of Imperial servants or taken from the population of feral worlds. Any prospective assassin is trained mercilessly, even on their journey to Terra itself, with only 1 in 10 surviving that very same voyage. They could be thrown into deadly environments, left to fend for themselves on dangerous foreign planets, or even pitted against other recruits in brutal combat. Their entire existence relies on the survival of only the fittest. Assuming they survive this arduous journey, they will arrive at the Officio Assassinorum for training. They are then divided among a selection of temples that will define their purpose as an assassin. From there, they are trained for over a decade under the Lord Assassin of their given temple. During this training process, any sense of humanity is entirely broken, and they are molded into the calculating and brutal killing machine that is required, at least in the eyes of the Grand Master of Assassins, to keep the Imperium safe. Now, there are 4 main temples. Each are named Calidus, Calexus, Vindicare, and Eversor. Unknown to many, there are an additional 2 smaller temples that are completely hidden from the outside world, known as Venenum and Varnus. In this video, I'll examine all of these temples and attempt to explain how each are used and for what purpose they train their assassins. Let's start things off with the Calidus Temple. Assassins under the Calidus name are the Imperium's infiltrators, specializing in deception and trickery. They are actually capable of shape-shifting and use this talent to assume the optimal position beside the enemies of the Emperor before eliminating them with a cold efficiency, and in some cases, even completely taking their place. Seen as the most cunning of all of the assassins employed by the Officio Assassinorum, the Calidus is famed for their use of polymorphine. Along with stringent specialized training, polymorphine allows the agent to change their shape and appearance. Using this, they are able to impersonate other humans, members of the opposite sex, and even humanoid xenos such as Eldar or Orcs. In one case, an agent named Melindy would actually undergo surgery so that they could successfully impersonate a gene stealer hybrid. This ability to shapeshift makes them experts at getting close to their targets, and those targets could be just about anyone. Among their known kills are rebellious imperial governors, corrupt imperial high officials, and heretical prophets. By weaseling their way into their target's most trusted allies, they can manipulate and influence them, changing their plans to suit their agenda and eventually removing them from the playing field at the most opportune moment. Armed with poisoned blades and neural shredders, they drop their target instantly, and once that target is eliminated, the Calidus assassin may once again use polymorphine to assume the position of their target, allowing the Officio Assassinorum to take full control of their operations. The Calidus are known for leaving death cards on their kills as a warning to others, a savage form of psychological warfare that keeps up their striking fear factor. Owing to a unique property of polymorphine that makes it significantly more effective when used on women, the vast majority of the Calidus Temple operatives are female, a stark contrast to many of the Imperial fighting forces. One of the most famous victims of the Calidus assassins was a son of the Emperor himself, Conrad Kurz. Described by the Eldari as nothing short of pure evil, these assassins are the most sinister of the tools available to the Officio Assassinorum. This is the Calexus Assassin. Now, the first thing you need to know about the Calexus Temple is that all of their assassins are psychic nulls, meaning that they emit waves of negative psychic energy into the world around them and exude very little physical presence. They have been said to resonate a deeply unsettling feeling even within those that are not attuned to the powers of the warp. The Calexus assassin possesses what is known as the pariah gene. This makes them soulless and accounts for their lack of warp presence. The pariah gene is extraordinarily rare, manifesting in only 1 in a billion humans. This incredible rarity and the inevitable losses taken during training mean that the Calexis Assassin is by far the rarest of all of the Imperial Assassins. This means that the temple has to spend a significant amount of time and resources on the hunt for their recruits, but they have also been known to grow new pariahs in vats. These laboratory-grown initiates can often struggle with the social interaction required to carry out their missions, however, their natural lack of upbringing stunting their emotions and forcing them to play the part of a human rather than actually being one. Armed with an animus speculum, the Calexis is able to focus their negative psychic energy on their target to devastating effect, stripping them of their warp energy entirely. To a Psyker, a Calexis Assassin simply being nearby can prove terrifying and invoke an overwhelming feeling of sheer panic. To entities who are purely derived from the warp, such as demons, the Calexis is completely invisible, as their negative psychic energy pushes back against them and entirely cloaks their presence. The location of their temple is a closely guarded secret, said to be on a planet with no sun and beyond the reach of the Astronomicon. The Eldar, whose leaders very often possess psychic inclinations, dread the presence of the Calexis Assassin. They had spent centuries hunting for their temple with a view towards utterly destroying it, but when it was finally found, the cost was greater than they could ever have expected. It was discovered that by destroying the temple, they would also cause the total annihilation of Alitok, a valuable craft world responsible for producing vast amounts of Eldari warriors. So, for now, the Calexis Assassin continues to stalk its prey and bring them to ruin. These agents of the Officio Assassinorum specialize in long-range sniper kills, exacting vengeance on the enemies of the Imperium with a single, perfectly placed bullet. This is the Vindicare Assassin. Known for their extreme levels of patience and stamina in the field, some have been known to wait in a single position for the arrival of their target for as long as 6 years, never taking a shot until they can be absolutely sure of their kill. Rebellions and heretical cults alike have been completely dismantled by a single round from the rifle of a Vindicare. The Vindicare Temple teaches their agents the art of patience combined with flawless marksmanship. They are conditioned by the Temple to be unwaveringly loyal, serving only the Imperium, their vocabulary severely limited to words only useful to their mission, and completely cutting themselves off from any form of emotional attachment so that no target is off limits. The intensity of the training given to the Vindicare Assassins makes them incredibly capable, able to pick out a single target within a horde with pinpoint precision thanks to their technologically advanced mask capable of enhancing their vision to superhuman levels and tapping into enemy communications to ensure they're always prepared. Famed for their use of the specially designed Exeter sniper rifle, this weapon is capable of firing a range of highly specialized ammunition determined by the target that they're sent to eliminate. This ammunition can take out heavily armored targets, massive beasts, or even vehicles without the need for a follow-up shot. Their stealth suit contains chameleon chemicals that allow them to blend in with their surroundings, hiding their form and making them almost completely undetectable to the naked eye, allowing them to lie in wait for months at a time and stalk their prey until the perfect moment arises to dispatch them with a cold-blooded efficiency. In Warhammer 40K, if you become marked by the Vindicare, it is not a question of if, but a question of when. Far removed from the other agents of the Officio Assassinorum, these assassins are far from as stealthy as their name would suggest, instead acting as lethal killing machines at an absolutely nuclear level. This is the Eversaw Assassin. Sometimes brute force is far more effective than precision, a philosophy seen in no starker contrast than when comparing the Eversaw Assassins to the rest of the agents of the Officio Assassinorum. Trained in the art of brutal violence, they are pumped full of a cocktail of drugs, mind-wiped to make them an empty shell of their former selves, and then put through a series of grueling surgeries to make them physically and mentally suitable for one purpose: eliminating everything in their path. When deployed to the battlefield, the Eversaw Assassin is tasked with striking at the very heart of the enemy, taking out their command structure and leaving nobody standing to take their place. Their training and indoctrination gives them a raging hatred for their enemy and unyielding zeal, so much so that when given a target, they attack with almost suicidal determination. Each Eversor assassin is armed with an executioner pistol, combining the power of a standard bolt pistol with the subtlety of a needle pistol, allowing them to take down a target stealthily if needed, but still packing far more than the average punch. The genetic modifications made to their bodies make the Eversor almost superhuman, their brain's processing speed enhanced by adrenal ducts, allowing them to analyze the battlefield within mere moments and even survive for short periods in a total vacuum. The Eversor is also given a second heart, giving them far greater stamina and also a built-in failsafe should one be damaged in combat. The stimulants given to the Eversor assassin make them nothing short of psychotic, allowing them to push far beyond their body's limits with very little regard for their own safety. Their immune system becomes hyperactive, meaning they can fight off toxins at a rapid rate, and should either the brain or their two hearts fail, the agent's immune system will completely shut down, and the substances that run through their veins will cause a chain reaction, resulting in a violent explosion on a cataclysmic level. Well aware of this eventuality, Eversor assassins have been known to purposely trigger this event when no other options remain, as a way to ensure total destruction of their target. Upon return from a mission, the Eversor is stored within a cryo crypt, only awakened again for their next mission. The existence of an Eversor assassin is brutal and extremely prolonged thanks to their cryo crypts, with all they know being one bloody massacre to the next. So that's the main 4 temples covered, all of which a fearsome foe for anyone unfortunate enough to become their target, and a potent weapon available to the High Lords of Terror. However, the Officio Assassinorum has another 2 highly classified and closely guarded temples at their disposal, the Varnus and Venenum temples. We know considerably less about these temples than the other 4, so this section won't be quite as long as the rest of the video, but it's still worth covering. So let's start with the Varnus Temple. The agents of the Varnus Temple are the finders, keepers, and manipulators of information. They are the human computing engines behind the Imperium's war efforts. Known as infosites, the members of the Varnus Temple are essentially human machines, although unlike their mechanical counterparts such as servitors, they are far more skillful in matters of strategy and tactics. They are famed for their record in flawless decision-making and are responsible for producing much of the propaganda that continues to keep the citizens and soldiers of the Imperium in line. The infosites of the Varnus Temple are said to hold the same relationship to data as an addict, always chasing a new high of raw information so that they can interpret and bend it to their will. Varnus agents are very rarely seen in the field, instead spreading the information they have passed through telepresence from their highly secretive sanctum or an Officio Assassinorum starship. Generally, the agents of the Varnus Temple do not do any of their own killing. On the rare occasion they do, they are designated as unbound infosites, and these very rare agents shun the usual teachings of their temple that would keep them away from any direct engagement. Because of this, the Varnus assassin is not obviously armed, instead being equipped with Auspectors and sympathetic data spikes. They prefer to let someone else do the killing with the information that they provide. They maintain their shadowed and highly powerful position by using the information they gather to blackmail, bribe, and manipulate anyone that could pose a risk to their temple's existence or the Imperium of Man itself. And that brings us to the last temple in today's video. These assassins of the Imperium specialize in the use of poison, wielding concoctions so potent they can eliminate a target with a single drop. Introducing the assassins of the Venenum Temple. Now, very little is known about the Venenum Temple itself, its inner workings kept almost entirely secret from the rest of the Imperium. Its agents are recruited from the ranks of some of the finest alchemists known to man, capable of brewing exotic potions that leave absolutely zero trace in the body of its victim. Known to be very active during the Horus Heresy, this temple was responsible for producing one of the most infamous agents of the Imperium, Drakan Vangerich. Vangerich was was the mastermind of the beheading, an incredibly well orchestrated coup in which all but one of the High Lords of Terror were killed within a single day. He would go on to rule the Imperium for 100 years before his mind finally began to crumble and he was eliminated by the Space Marine Maximus Thane. So that's all of the assassin temples covered in this video. Highly skilled, cold-blooded killers who are available to the High Lords of Terror at the drop of a hat for any task that they see fit. Whether you need to take out a sitting governor, a traitorous cult leader, or the entire command structure of your enemy, there is no doubt that one of the temples will be able to do what is required either from the shadows or with considerably less subtlety.